Gary's not coming back. Budget issue.
It's not part of the.
This is the one that's ready.
Yeah.
That's the new application.
Yeah, but you ready, Jen?
You ready?
You ready?
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Good.
I know.
Go.
Be pretty.
All right. Good evening, everyone. This is the Town of Fairfield Conservation Commission acting as the Inland Wetlands Agency agenda for November 1st, 2023. I'm here, Bruce Thomas, Daphne Bowen is here, Jay Payne is here, Peter Mahoney's here, Ted Lutzinger's here, and I will be appointing Ted Lutzinger as a full member for tonight purposes. Thank you. All right. Now, approval of the draft meeting minutes in Inland Wetlands Agency of October 4th, 2023. Any commissioners have any corrections or issues with the minutes as drafted? All right. Motion to approve? Ted? Yep. And second? Second. And Pete? Sure. Okay, second. There you go. So those are approved. The site walk meeting of October 22nd, 2023, there's a bit of confusion there. We will be accepting those, but not voting on them simply because there was no official agenda that went out for that particular meeting. So it would be seen as just three. Information. Yeah, informational. The three members went and I was up, ready to go, but I'm like, I don't think there's an agenda. Did it get canceled? I didn't even know what was going on. So
We took pictures.
I know you
they're
did.
out there.
So that's good. So they'll be accepted, but they won't actually be meeting minutes. There's no official meeting. Okay? All right. And now we have item 4, or Roman 4 public hearings. The first one is map amendment application. William Kenny Associates, 12 and 44 Wakeman Road, map 141, parcel 120B and 121. Request to amend town map E-15 to reflect ground conditions. We're not going to be having discussion on that today, only because there was a issue with formal notification in the paper.
Yeah, the newspaper, we sent it to them.
Yeah.
On time. They did not publish it and didn't tell us until October 25th that it hadn't been published on the 20th.
So that is a requirement for any public hearing. So we will set that up for public hearing for December 6th. Let's see where time we have. 7 o'clock. Is Bill online? Bill Kenny? If you can hear me, Bill, are you there? There, but he's probably not listening to me. Okay, then I'll move on. Roman numeral number 5, applications for receipt.
Oh.
Here you go.
Comes.
Okay. Bill, are you there? Can we hear Bill? Bill, do you want to say something? I want to make sure we can hear you.
Is he muted?
Yeah, just like a.
Do you have him muted on our end?
No, is our volume?
No volumes.
So.
Wonder if it's the same problem we had last time. Bill, can you say a couple things? See if we can hear you. All right. Well, yeah, we'll move on. Roman numeral 5, applications for receipt. Number 1, map amendment application, Grayson 113 Twin Lanes Road, map 158, parcel 31. Request to amend town map I-4 to reflect ground conditions. Last day for public hearing or decision is January 5th, 2024. Last regular meeting prior is January 3rd, 2024. And again, these are all estimates because we haven't had the full meetings out yet. Staff recommends. Oh, good. Hold on for a minute, Bill. Staff recommends scheduling a public hearing for December 6th for January 3rd. I'd recommend this for December 6th. Okay. All right. Now, just for Bill, which one is it? Which one are you?
No, I think he's here for Sturgis. 666 Sturgis, under legal.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. So I'm gonna, I think I can do it by myself. Just gonna take out of order number 8 under legal and enforcement. Number 1, show cause hearing, Benitez 666 Sturgis Highway, map 249, lot 21. Kelly to address and will be dated July 5th, 2022, for tree cutting and clearing in a regulated area without a permit. I'm giving a courtesy to Bill Kenny because he does have to go to Westport's at the same time. So if I can get him out, he'll be free to go and we can continue on with the rest of the agenda with the folks that are here. Okay. All right, Bill.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm here on behalf of the property. To the agency a registration plan, but I want to know that been retained. In fact, there's and I just not around it, putting this drawing together.
Bill?
Time. Yes.
Bill, is there any way to, is there any way to connect better? We can only hear like every third word, it seems like.
Any words?
Huh. I will call in.
Okay.
Yeah, call Peter.
Oh, Peter, right.
Yeah, well, you can just put them on speakerphone. Can't take that work.
Let's see if. Thanks for holding on, folks. A minute. Well, it's this number here. It still goes through there, right? It's just that there's no you. Okay.
But if he's on video and he calls, will there be a?
He can be muted on the video.
Yeah.
I gotta be big.
Bristol. There we go.
There he goes.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh,
Yes.
much better. Thank you.
Yay.
All right. So,
Can you hear me now?
oh yeah, no, that's fine the way it was before. We can hear you well.
Okay, great. So let me see if I can get back. I can't see the video now on my screen. Let me fix that. Technology. Here we go. So I'm here on behalf of the property owner. They have a violation. They needed to provide you with a restoration planting plan. They did reach out to me several months ago, and I agreed to work with them, and they signed me up. And I unfortunately have not prepared that plan yet. It's been my fault in not getting that done. And the owner is out of town today, so they're not here. And I agreed to come and just give you an update and let you know that it is my intention to complete that plan and have it to you in time for your next meeting so the staff can review it in advance of that, and you'll be able to take a look at that.
Sarah, is that correct with that?
Yes.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. I'm okay with tabling it, but please have it ready by the next meeting.
Okay, I will.
All
Thank
right.
you for adjusting your meeting.
You table it?
Yeah, make a motion.
Sure. Okay.
Motion to the table.
And 7 seconds. Okay. So now we've finished with Roman numeral 8, number 1. We will go back to Roman numeral 5, application for the seat. And we are number 2, WP-23-151, Town of Fairfield Engineering Department, 50 Villa Avenue, map 33, parcel 75A, flood mitigation project within a regulated area. Last day for public hearing or decision is January 5th, 2024. Again, this is an estimated date of the 2024 meeting schedule was not set yet. And staff recommends a public hearing for December 6th, 2023 or January 3rd, 2024. I think this would be good for December 6th, 2023. Okay? Yep. All right. Moving on to number 3, WP-23-152, Shellen Workman, 2445 Congress Street, map 118, parcel 35. Construction of a driveway within a regulated area. Last day for public hearing and decision is January 5th, 2024. Last regular meeting prior is January 3rd, 2024. Same thing about the meeting schedule for 2024. It's not been set yet. And this one, okay, sorry, this one says staff recommend tabling pending legal notice and departmental review. So Sarah, was there an issue with this one needs legal notice? Or
They all need legal notice of pending applications. So they all get it when they come in.
Okay,
And then it gives time for if anyone were to request a public hearing.
so we're not
So
doing anything.
within that time frame. Yeah. So this week, if you want to just table it, then
Okay.
we'll review it and
Okay, so we'll table that one, and then we'll move on to number 4, which is WP-23-153, Redness and Mead, 875 Mill Hill Road, map 228, parcel 95. Construction of a pool, patio, drainage improvements, and fencing with a regulated area. Last day for public hearing decision is January 5th, 2024. Last regular meeting prior is January 3rd, 2024. This one, the applicant requests a fee waiver and the staff recommends public hearing for December 6th or January 2023 or January 3rd, 2024. We've already set 3 on December 6th. We can't make that meeting too crazy. So I'll recommend this one for January 3rd, 2024. And we can take up the request for fee waiver at that time. Okay, commissioners, are you good with that? Okay. And number 5, WP-23-154, Race Coastal Engineering, 1131-1223 Fairfield Woods Road, also known as Dogwood Green Condominiums, map 46, parcel 16, pond dredging within a regulated area. Last day for public hearing or decision is January 5th, 2024. Last regular meeting prior is January 3rd, 2024. Again, with the 2024 meeting schedule not set yet. We'll set that down for January 3rd, 2024. Okay. Moving on to Roman numeral 6, fee waiver requests. One, CWC WP-23-137, Carna Mark, 1597 Reading Road, Assessors Map 220, Parcel 6. Demolition of the existing garage and construction of a new garage within a regulated area. Applicant requests fee waiver for $5,510 of the application fee. Staff recommends approval of $5,450 fee waiver request because $60 state fee that cannot be waived. Sarah, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so this one had originally come in back in like April, May for CWC. It was WP 23-043. We had done their draft approval in June of 23. They paid their fee. I did the site inspection, wrote up the draft approval, sent it to them. As part of their draft approval, they always need to publish a legal notice in the newspaper. There was some kind of miscommunication between the applicant and the homeowner. It didn't get published, so this is it's really a statutory thing that they had to reapply. Since the first application, our application fees changed, but it's the same application. I didn't do any extra work for the second one.
Can you tell us what the initial application fee was?
The initial application fee was $1,020, including the state fee.
Okay, but was that paid?
Yes.
Okay. Questions? Any motion to approve fee waiver?
Sarah, when was that? Last?
It was in June that it had been approved, and it didn't get published within the 10-day time frame that they had to publish it.
That was the
And
newspaper.
it was a miscommunication. One thought the other was doing it, and when it came to finalize, it turned out no one had done it. So it's really a statutory.
It's under the old fee schedule?
Yes, yeah, it's under the old fee schedule.
I'll make a motion to ask to approve the waiver of fee because of the circumstances.
A second.
And Debbie seconds. All in favor? Aye. Okay, very good. Number 7, bills and bond releases. Number 1, IWP 2020-21-20, Milligan, 75 Old South Road. Demolish existing residence and construct new single-family residence, swimming pool, and terraces within a regulated area. Request of Walter Stapleton for final bond release of $14,750. Staff recommends final bond release of the $14,750. Sarah, can you tell us something about that?
They met all their conditions. Everything looks wonderful out there.
Yeah.
Paid their fees. We're satisfied with it.
That sounds great.
Make a motion.
Jay?
I'll make a motion to approve the request for the bond release for $14,750.
Anybody second? Kiddo Mahoney seconds. All right, all in favor? Aye, all around. Okay. Now we're going back to Roman numeral 8, legal and enforcement actions. Going to number 2, discussion of 875 Mill Hill Road and 975 Mill Hill Road in Southport. Request to discuss potential historic violation between property owners over non-permitted landscaping activities and movement of water in a regulated area, including inland wetlands and upland review area. This one here, it's not at the level of legal enforcement yet from what my understanding is, but it's simply FIM is trying to get council and parties, I don't know who's here, I know Attorney Fallon is one of the councils, in a room together to try to figure it out with our staff. So,
666?
no, this is discussion, 875 Mill Hill Road and 975 Mill Hill Road. There may be issues between the neighbors, maybe some discord between them, and then there's also a third property that has a pond or something along those lines that might be affected by the.
We saw all that when we did the
Yeah.
sidewalk
The
about a
sidewalk,
year ago.
Here we go. Okay.
We're aware of.
Spring last year.
Yeah, there were trees planted. They pointed that out.
So,
Our pond.
okay, good. So I think what all of us, somebody can say whatever they want to say, but ultimately we want to put you into a room together with our director. If anybody wants, let's start with Attorney Fell. If you'd like to,
Should I stay here? Should I come up?
whatever's more comfortable for you,
Whatever is
view
respectful.
systems, the
No, I know,
speakers,
it's not anywhere.
they're in the ceiling, so it's,
You
you're
can't
fine.
whisper in here anymore. I'll stay right here just for
That's fine.
convenience for everybody. I'm John Fallon. I appreciate the time to talk. I'm sorry that we have to bring this before the commission and your busy schedule at this time. But the simple fact of the matter is you have all my material. I think I submitted it online, and then as a convenience, I had everything hand delivered to you as well. And what that documents is that for over 6 months, we've been trying to initiate a constructive dialogue with the owner of the next door property, and her attorney was here tonight, to resolve the matter by way of addressing what we think is documented in the material we supplied as a very serious violation on the Wannet's property. I have with me here today Mr. Craig Flaherty from Redness and Mead. Part of my package involved topo maps that show previously existing conditions and existing conditions now. This is a young family that can't use their yard because, as you can see from the photographs, the fill that has been placed by way of that berm has caused a tremendous impact in terms of the water not moving as it previously did. We appreciate Tim's efforts and Sarah's to try to get some movement here. I know Tim has been in contact with Attorney Grant, but nothing's happened. And so at the end of the day, although I'd like to not be here, we submitted the material in October. I have no objection whatsoever to sitting down and having a meaningful discussion to try to resolve this. In fact, Mr. Flaherty has a plan that would, I think, address that to the benefit of the Hudsons and to minimal impact and cost to Mrs. Wannet. But absent that, and if that doesn't happen, and we'd like this to stay on your agenda for perhaps both your December meeting, because if we don't make any progress here, then we would ask Section 14.4 to implement appropriate proceedings in terms of NOV and restoration. This is not rocket science. It is not the most complicated issue here, and we're not looking to cause any undue problem to Mrs. Wannet, but activities were taken by her and her agents on the property that did in fact create the condition that basically deprives them of all use of their backyard. And we need to have that addressed, and we would appreciate your continued interest and the staff's continued efforts. And if putting us in a room is the way to do it, then I submit to this record, I'm willing to be in any room, any day, any time with Mr. Flaherty to see if we can resolve this to save everybody the pain that otherwise going through a violation proceeding.
Thank you, counsel.
Thank you.
Counsel?
Good evening. My name is Robert Grant. I represent Judy Wannet. And I want to point out that we approached Tim Bishop, your department, before any of these complaints were made. We were told that there was no violation. We asked Mr. Bishop to come out. He inspected the berm that was created with wood chips. And we've worked out a plan to remove the chips. We don't have any objection to removing the chips. They don't act as a dam. Our backyard is just as wet as it ever has been. And today, I dropped off to the department a topographic map that was prepared by Huntington Company. I only received it yesterday. I was out of town yesterday, so I immediately brought it to the department. So this will be a good benchmark between Mr. Flaherty's work and Mr. Shevlin's work. And the idea is I guess we're in the position of Shylock. We don't want to create one more drop of water going into the pond. We don't want to block up one drop of water coming off the neighbor Hudson's pond. We just want to be neutral. We don't want to have any problems. And if we remove everything that was put in there by Mr. Wanted, who's deceased, I think we don't have a problem.
All right.
And we're willing to be in a room.
You're willing to be in a room, you're willing to be in a room. That's the two out of the three. The three, property number three?
Property number 3, yes.
Okay, please.
Greg Schultz, owner of, co-owner of 100 Waterville, which is the owner of the pond.
Yep.
Or at least most of the pond. Well, I submitted by email last night, according to the town's recommendation, our perspective on a lot of the issues before the committee here. The biggest challenge with this particular issue is this is a long-standing issue. We started out Wanet's filling back in 2019 after we bought our property. The town came out in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, every year to examine what they were doing. At every juncture, the town said, it's fine. I don't know how the Wanets would know that what they were doing is illegal if the people who say this is illegal or legal they are standing there saying it's legal. So it's a little odd that the town is coming out to inspect something and then we come 3 years later and say, oh, by the way, what we looked at last year, that's illegal.
If I may just respond to that so things are clear for our discussion.
Sure.
There was a violation request made by Mr. Schultz and Ms. Farrington with regard to the wood chips in 2021, 2022. And in fact, Mr. Bishop did issue in February 2022 an NOV, and he re-inspected. And in March of 2022, he issued a letter saying that the offending wood chips, which were about, I think, 30 square yards, if I remember correctly, had been removed. The problem that we have is, number one, since that time, as documented by a lot of what we provided you, there's been further activities that constitute violation. And number two, the biggest problem here isn't necessarily the wood chip. It's the tremendous change in grade caused by filling that occurred. And again, you have documentation there by way of certain photographs, dump truck deliveries, and so on. So we don't dispute that the Schultzes and Farringtons made a complaint about wood chips, nor do we dispute that those rather discrete area of wood chips were removed. But there's a lot more here that has happened since that needs to be resolved.
Let me get it clear. The wood chips were put there by you guys or?
No, Mrs.
So, right, so that's why they made a complaint, but it's against that property. You want to have something dealt with the issues that happened in that property, right?
Right. All I'm saying is that, well, Mr. Schultz is correct that there was a complaint that he and Ms. Farrington made concerning wood chips in 2022. That's the iceberg here, and that the issue that we're most concerned with, and perhaps we can resolve in light. I haven't seen the map, obviously. Mr. Grant has got.
I think I understand it now, and I hope the commissioners do.
But it's a question of the fill that was done.
It's a long-standing issue.
It's been since 2019, every year they've been out. So why they didn't shut it out, why are they now attacking Judy and her husband's dad is beyond me.
We're not attacking Mrs. Wanted. What we're trying to do is clean a backyard of our property.
Say something. Hold on. Finish your
What I
statement.
want to say is, we've complied with every request, not just orders, but requests to the conservation. What's really interesting to me is that we went to Mr. Bishop and said, we're being told that we're in violation. Can you come out and check our property? And Mr. Bishop came out and he said, if you could remove a little bit of these chips, like say 2 feet wide, that'll resolve the problem. But we can't even do that. The irony is we can't do it on our own. We need a permit.
So then, okay, so then that'll be part of it. That'll be helpful because everybody's gonna have to come in front of us at some point. But let's start with being in a room together. Commissioner Fang?
Yeah, first of all, we have to have Tim here because it's all hearsay without him here. Second,
Yeah.
we can't act as both policeman, judge, and jury.
No.
Tim has to ask as the policeman back, and then they have to bring the matter before us. So I think this may be, I understand there's a lot going on, but it has to go through Tim.
Yeah, it has to go through Tim. I think the purpose of all of this coming here now was just to get us up to speed on what's kind of happening here and the dynamics between the three parties. And now Tim will have to do what he does, and if he does a letter or NOV or whatever, then we have to deal with it when it comes here. But I think hopefully, you know, again, Tim's not here, and I can't speak for him, but I think he's trying to just kind of figure it all out before it gets to us. And I think that if you all agree to do it, I think that would be a good way to go.
That's fine. And all I again would request is be continued on your agenda.
Sure, we'll keep it here.
So, and that if possible, if we could have this meeting sometime before December 6th, or a couple of weeks before December 6th, so we could explore whether or not this thing can be resolved without, well, further applications.
What I think we just put. Yeah, but you're 875 Mill Hill Road, right?
Correct.
Yeah, we put you down for January 3rd.
Well, that's just our application for the pool.
Separate?
This is a separate issue.
Okay.
Obviously, and the Farrington and Schultz have spoken to their concerns about the IWPA. We'll be prepared to address that January 3rd here.
Okay.
Can I just confirm, sir, that
For clarity's sake, I just want to ask two questions. Sir, when Tim Bishop came out to assess, was that after the NOV was issued or before?
No, it was before, it was,
No, he came out, it was
oh, you mean
not
that?
after
after
the, he met you out there.
Yeah.
It was after.
But we had a letter from the Conservation Department saying, you've corrected this violation. There was wood chips, like in the center of the backyard, there was wetlands. They were removed. Tim Bishop came out and said, you did okay.
Got it.
Well done. I wasn't involved at that time, but I think that's.
And
One other question.
And Mr. Schultz, you're saying that after that, the activity.
I'm saying that it's starting in 2019.
Right.
So we purchased our house, moved in April of 2019, started calling
Right.
in 2019. The town came out
And it
in
continued
2019.
after the NOV was issued and corrective order.
The NFE wasn't issued until 2022.
I'm saying that, okay, and when you say that the town came out each year,
Yes,
it was the conservation.
correct.
It was Brian Carey.
It was Tim.
Tim came out when Tim was not in
That was
position.
one that got involved from this office.
What you'll find in the file, just for clarity's sake,
We didn't do an NOV.
just for clarity, what you find in the file is that Tim, based upon the complaint of Mr. Schultz and Ms. Farrington, in February of 2022, Tim issued an NOV with regard to these wood chips.
But Tim was there in
You'll
February.
then find another letter file of March 25th, I think, 2022, where Tim writes Mrs. Wannett and says, I went out, the wood chips are gone. Thank you very much.
Right.
Copies of the
Now,
file.
that gets back to the point I was making.
Then I just got copies for a record.
It's much beyond the 30 square feet of wood chips and what happened after March of 2022 and the impacts on my client.
Yes, please.
I just want to make it clear that since 2019, I've called every single solitary year when I watch this activity, and the town came out and they were told what they were doing was fine. I called in 2019, I called in 2020, I called in 2021, and I called
Do
in.
you agree that it was fine, or do you agree it was not fine?
We called because.
I thought it was not
So
fine.
then this is something that's going to help you at some point, because Tim will be there. He's our director. They're claiming that there's a tip of an iceberg, and council here will try to refute that, or at least try to work with everybody.
All we're gonna do is remove all the chips. There'll be no problem.
These chips are not the only issue. There's Phil here as well.
Not bring a hearing tonight. Let's.
Yeah.
And if we compare our topo maps, then hopefully that maybe starts to yield us to a solution.
Start
Chips are
doing,
not the issue.
put all that together and bring it up to Tim, because we have nothing in front of us to discuss in detail. But I think, yep.
We need to have Tim here. This is.
Well, no, I don't want, Tim's not here. This
Right.
is a legal enforcement action.
Right.
What our job is, Tim's got to write a letter or find a violation, and then it comes before us, and we either agree with that he did it the right way or he didn't. So I think he's just trying to work with all of these folks to get it done the right way.
And I'm sorry, is there a current NOV on this property?
Right, so that's
We're
why,
requesting that one,
Just want to make sure that everything else has been cleared, so.
the 2022 wood chip thing was.
Yeah. So now it's, council will have to talk to Tim with everybody else in the room and seems like council, you have to convince them that there's something wrong, or maybe you convince them it's only the chips, and then you guys have to also convince them you guys have to do a lot of talking with Tim.
I provided to Mr. Grant a copy of our submission. I don't know if Mr. Schultz and Ms. Farrington have it. I'll be happy to get them a copy.
Please, yeah, if all three, council, and one or both of you exchange emails, information to really work it on paperwork, and then Tim as well.
Because that speaks to a lot of what we think supports the violation request.
So, Tim unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, but he will, I will, Sarah, make sure Tim gets everybody, and then, if it's possible in the next 2 weeks, is that enough time?
Great.
If you can schedule a meeting in the next 2 weeks. If for some reason he can't, you can email and nothing further than 3 weeks. Yes, sir.
Just final question. I just want to make sure that the submission we made last evening was in fact received by the committee. We did make it according to the
Submission for,
it says if you have any issues related to the agenda, that you submit it to
By email.
I didn't get it.
conservation at, well,
So when the department receives something, it has to be not only sent to the commissioners, but has to be put on record in the file, right?
Yes, and it is.
So it sounds like it just hasn't.
it hasn't been
Bishop
processed.
said he was sending it out to everyone, but I don't know if it.
On that, in fairness to the Farringtons and the Schultzes, in the email, which I did see because it was eventually posted, it came in at 8:20 last night. There is a reference to a verified pleading that they made in a prior proceeding that I was not involved in, when the Hudsons had an application pending and then withdrew it. I just want to make it clear, so they raised in the email the question, well, we didn't get a copy of everything and we're interveners. Obviously, if you're going to intervene here, you should file a new intervention because this is a new matter.
Okay.
Just so you're not working under the belief that you've got an
we will
intervention.
file the same intervention.
Just file it, that's
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. So we're moving on that one, okay? The what legal enforcement actions? Three, continued 1876 Black Rock Turnpike Realty and Development LLC, care of JPA Realty Corp. 1876 Black Rock Turnpike. Map 76, lot 172. Failure to address NOV dated May 25, 2020. Material regulated area. Affecting regulated activity in a regulated area with permit footer behind the restaurant. Welcomed by grounds crew. Inland wetlands located on town-owned open space. Staff currently working its property owner to resolve. Progress on litter removal was verified on October 20th, 2023. Do you want to talk about it or? Okay.
You've already.
I spoke to Tim about it. They did remove all that litter, but if you recall, when we took this up the last time, Tim had recommended they raise up that there's a gap between the fence and the ground and
They're being blown underneath.
put something there. That hasn't happened yet, but there's still communication going with folks. So, they're not, disregarding Tim or laws. And so I continue this to let them finalize those things. Yes. That's good. Okay. We'll continue that. Number 3. Okay. And if I didn't say it already, I'll go back to number 2. That's going to be continued to put that on the agenda for the next agenda as well. And number 4, again, under Roman numeral 8 and legal and enforcement. Blanco, 144 Bennett Street, map 26, lot 166. Significant activities without a permit, including deposition of material within a regulated area, water course, and disturbance of the natural and indigenous character of the land without sediment and erosion controls. Currently working with the town special counsel to pursue legal enforcement actions. This should even be updated. I don't know if I think everybody saw an email. They've already prepared the legal action. And so they have moved forward with this. And this should just be continued because we'll deal with it whenever the lawsuit, or they wake up and do something with it. Okay. Everybody good with that? Yes. All right, now Roman numeral 9, staff reports. Reports from Conservation Department. A, CWC permit application received 10. B, notice of violation issued 0. B, bond release 10. Is there anything further from that? No, not really. right?
No.
Yeah.
Self-explanatory.
Number 2, revised town wetlands soil maps have been rolled out. I think, let's see what it's in front of me. They're all now online. Everything is not just rolled out, they're all online. And then also number 3, the vernal pools inventory project complete and available on GIS. That's all there. And then that gets us to number 4, site walks for November. Well, we got to split that up because let's see what we just said we did. For December would be 1, so it would be 12. That's how I get here. Which one is
12 and 44, wait.
12 and 44? Wait, but not even on.
113.
That one was supposed to be on last month.
Oh, okay, that was
Last
that the one
Oh,
you just did?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
so then that doesn't have to be done again. Okay,
Twin Lanes and Villa.
the Twin Lanes, yeah, and Villa would be for sometime in November. And then Congress
for November too.
for November. And then Mill Hill,
Hopefully.
yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we wouldn't have to do Mill Hill, right?
Reason to go back. We
Well,
probably
no,
need to do
no.
it again, though.
Well, I don't
I
know.
don't know, I mean, if they come to a resolution, then.
No, they still have their application.
They have an
That's
application
different.
for that.
An application for the pool, patio, drainage, and fencing.
On Mill Hill to, prior to the sidewalk, I would request that they,
Application.
they still have it.
Yeah.
They what?
Take out the improvements.
Well, you know what?
Not really sure.
How about if we do this then? ABC, so Twin Lanes, Villa and Congress in November. Mill Hill Road, you guys can go on your own if you want to revisit, but we do have pictures that
Yep.
I'm sure Pete had,
They're probably on the, I'll send it to Tim again. I don't
Okay.
refresh ourselves.
and then Dogwood Green, we can do in December. All right, now for November 24th around 11 o'clock.
Yeah, that'd be great.
If you come in December, you might be able to go skating on the pond.
I was gonna say, is that what you're doing? Phone and check our Sundays.
Old enough.
It depends. Every year we get 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close it's only this deep.
It only has to be, 4 inches. And if you fall in, your knees get wet. That's as much as it happens.
It's just. It's 19th. That's 12th. I don't know if anybody's going away. I don't want to do the 26th.
Yeah, holidays are tough for me.
Yeah, that's fine. Is the 12th okay?
It is.
Okay, so that's the 12th at 8 o'clock,
12th of December.
November.
November.
Oh, okay. I won't be around, but it's okay. I'll do it.
Night? Well,
8 a.m.
it's up at 8 a.m. I'm sorry about that.
Those of us who go to those sidewalks.
My beauty sleep, come on. With an agenda, please?
Yeah, in terms of the traffic. Yeah. The map of getting from one to the other.
Right? Yeah, right. Put it in order.
You're not gonna get in to see much of Belknap.
Maybe we can start there. Well, whatever, you figure out how to, where we go.
Yeah, Tim usually,
Okay.
so I
For-
let him figure it out.
Gonna try and do all 3?
Yeah, A, B, and C will be done on November 12th at 8 a.m. And
Or thereabouts.
Yeah, give or take. Right.
Your objections are hereby noted.
And ignored. We don't have to pick now, put E on the next agenda and we can pick a date then. Okay.
There might be more after that.
Yeah, so that's good too. Everybody's busy in the wintertime. Could have done it when it's nice and sunny.
I know, right?
All right, so now we're moving on to Roman numeral 10, other, and number 1 is a concept review for 220 Pansy Road. And is that you, sir?
No, I came for the.
Online.
Figured I would like to stay and just see what goes on.
Oh, okay. Is that Dean?
Mr. Cardamus online.
Okay, so what's happening here? It's kind of. Hold on for a second, Mr. Cardamus. It's kind of how applicants go in front of either Sarah or Tim and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking of doing. This is a little bit bigger, so he wanted to come in front of us. So it's nothing that we're going to vote on. It's not any, he just wants to.
Informational.
It's informational. It's informational. And oh, no, this is a good question. Can you speak again there, Mr. Cardamus?
Yeah, I'm sorry. For some reason, I can't get the video on right now. It must have been a downloaded WebEx, but exactly what you said. I mean, basically, I have an opportunity or a contract to purchase the farm here. I didn't want to spend a lot of time and money. I have been in front of the commission a few times. I am a developer here in town, and I just wanted to at least get the temperature. I went back and forth with Tim a couple times. Bill Kenny put together this concept plan. Basically, it shows getting rid of all the old buildings, removing the barn and all the other problems up there that are in the actual inland wetland there, creating 2 lots. And then hopefully at that point, we'd have, I think, almost 8.5 acres that we would plan on deeding back to the town if they would take it for open space.
Okay. And the area that's wetland, what is it being used for currently?
There is a farm there in place on Pansy Road. It's been for some time. The barn is in the actual inland wetland. I think he has some animals that are in there now. Bill Kenny's actually at a meeting in Westport right now. He's going to chime in. I guess there's been lots of activity in the inland wetland that's pretty harmful. And Bill's take on this was, basically clean up and restore the wetland that was there. We'd be removing more square footage of building than we'd be putting back. So really, it would be least invasive with our plan. And I think that concept review kind of shows where the 2 smaller, building lots would be off to the right. It shows restoring the inland wetland, and then, like I said, whatever the town would probably choose to do. We did have a kind of a little talk with the first selectman's office. Would they be interested in taking the property for open space? They are open to that idea, and so are we.
So I know that property, it's the one that backs up at the shopping center on Black Rock Turnpike.
Correct.
Has a farm there. It's a tough piece of property. I don't think that we can give you any guarantees, or I personally can't give you any guarantees where you get there. There's the really high quality wetlands in the rear, which is the red maple swamp, and like you said, even the front of the property where the farm is, part of it's wetlands, and part that isn't wetlands is all filled wetlands. So it would have to take a real hard look at it, and I'm sure it would be a full review. Because I think it requires activity in wetlands, it would require a public hearing.
Sure. I mean, whatever you're going to do, you would come before us, and we would make a decision based on the information provided us. Now, if your soil, your surveys, your soil tests, all of these things that you got to do to come in before us, we'll take it at the time of a public hearing. If it were something where, let's say, where the barn is and animals are, those are wetland areas, and they're not being appropriately used now, and they haven't been in such a long time, and there's a way to either restore it or use it in a better way, that would be a benefit or a plus. but I'm not sure. This is just an informational thing, and the concept as a whole, sure, I don't see there's anything wrong with it, but as Commissioner Fain said, we can't tell you now, yeah, sure, do that, and we're going to approve it. We cannot say that to you.
I completely understand that. I guess the point is, I mean, as you can imagine, to do these applications quickly, there's quite a bit of time, there's quite a bit of expense. And if already the temperature from the board is, hey, look, it's a great wetland, we don't want any development on it. No matter what you bring to us, it's not something we're going to be behind. Well, then, for somebody like me, I just move on to my next, right? Somebody can operate it as a farm for the next generation if they choose or not. It just seemed like after looking at the property in a whole, this is, I would say, a much.
But the farm operates under as of right, so it's different from a development. So so that's what I'm supposed to. And it's been there. I've lived in town for my 50s. It's always been there.
Yeah, it develops as a farm as of right, and it can do certain things as of right. But I think what Mr. Cardemus is trying to do is, you're trying to not make it a farm anymore, right? And build two houses.
Right. No, all I was saying was that, yes, he's going to correct it, but it wasn't that they had done something wrong. I mean, that historically
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to be filling, you're going to be filling wetlands. It's something that we very rarely permit so you're going to have to roll the dice on that. You're an experienced developer. You're getting into, the property's been sitting there for a while, and there's a reason for that. The only redeeming thing that you have going for you is you have city sewer and water on this site, I believe.
Yes.
And he's also going to be giving up 7+ acres.
Right.
It's given up now. No one's taking it, and no one's doing
I
anything
would,
with it.
I would like to know if there'd be any.
It's not usable. It's
Not usable.
very wetlands.
But it would go to the town.
Management.
Town invested it, and no access, it's.
Well, just to correct, I mean, look, you realize there's a lot of dry property that backs up to all of Black Rock Turnpike. And, that whole association up there that Larry Roberts owns and another owns, they've all approached me and said, look, if you do this, maybe we would buy some of that. So there is, if you look at the map, there is quite a bit that's locked by wet, but it does back up to all those parking lots up there. So there is usable land out of that 8.5 acres. And the town would be getting over 8 acres of potential open space property, which, look at, I don't know what you would do with it. That would be up to them. I mean, I'm sure you can do some type of walking trails or some type of, education with the school across the street or, a lot of other things. But, I think one thing we've learned in this town of Fairfield, there is no land that's undevelopable. It seems like somebody always seems a way to do something with it.
Unfortunately.
I will just say
you know,
that, our job here is to protect
Yeah.
wetlands. I mean, that is our job. And just keep that in mind.
Yes.
Well, it's also, it sounds nice. I don't want it to be understood that, look, if you do this, you get that. That's not how it is. You got to find an application, and we got to look at it for what it is. It's immaterial almost to me of you get 7 or 8 open space acres to the town. I can tell you now, just my own personal feeling, I feel a little uncomfortable with the way that particular part of it is presented. But right, almost, and I'm not happy about that. But if you present an application that says, look, here's the damage that's occurring on this now, even though it's as of right use, if I put these 2 parcels, the survey, and I show you these 2 parcels, and some of the wetlands are either restored or revived, or somehow you put them into, a use in the property, and they're conserved, and that might be more eye candy for us than you might think. It's not so much about.
Well, that's what that concept plan shows. It shows, really, we're going to restore more wetland and get more square footage removed from the property.
If that's the plan, you know, and you bring it before us in the future with that information, I might not have a problem with it, but you can't say, oh, I'm gonna, give me 2 lots and I'll give you 700 acres.
No, that's not.
Point. Wasn't the point.
We regulate activity, that's all. So it's whatever the activity is in the wetland, that's all we really care about, like, you know, whatever you're putting there, it's the activity.
Well, and also I would just add that there have been applications that have come before us and people in similar situations as you wanting to so-called improve a property, and we have worked with them to try to configure the development or the building in such a way that it's either compliant or comes very close to complying with our wetlands regulations. So if this is a property that you're looking to develop, maybe there's a different way to arrange your concept plan so that it is less invasive.
Understood. Understood. Just, yes, I guess, you know, like I said before, I guess the point was, you know, after having somebody look at it like Bill Kenny, I think you guys do respect Bill. And, you know, that's what he had said. Look, he goes, you know, you're getting rid of some pretty rough activity out here that's inside the wetland. He goes, this would be restoring wetlands and this would be, you know, better for the environment up here. And like I said, we'd be getting rid of more square footage of displacement with buildings than what would be going back. So it really just seems to be it seems to be a win-win for the property for sure. And that's really your job, I guess, is to keep the wetlands restored. That's why, I mean, I wouldn't even consider to come in front of the board with something where we'd be filling wetlands or asking for building lots. I mean, I understand how it works and I wouldn't even bother wasting your time. This was something that just seems that, really would work. And that's the only reason that, I even brought it up.
Right, but just please keep in mind that just because your plan is better than what is existing doesn't absolve you or us for that matter for protecting what is there and abiding by our regulations.
Right.
Understood.
I can appreciate your position. You'd like to know, if I move forward and invest this kind of money, what are my chances of prevailing? You said you have a contract, is that correct?
Yes.
Does your contract include a provision of subject to town approvals?
Yes.
Well, you're protected there to some degree. It's just now a financial loss, but that's like any other investment. So I appreciate what you're doing here, and this is good for at least us to have an idea about it. Now, maybe between you and Bill and maybe our staff, you can try to come in and give some more information, and then when it's ready to present to us, we'll have a background because of this concept talk we just had, and I think that was great, a good idea to do. But again, going back to the beginning, we can't give you any yes, we agree tonight kind of information. We can't do that, but at least we have information that what your plan or your idea is going to be. You just said your contract protects you, that you don't have to deal, you don't have to buy it if you don't get approvals. And our staff is willing to help you. So, I think it's a good thing if you want to try it.
Doug, listen, I really appreciate everybody's time. That's really, I just kind of wanted to get a feel, and I guess wanted everybody to look at the least the concept review in, on a real, piece of paper in front of you, just to get an idea of what we're talking about. So I appreciate everybody's time.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else, any others, or any other, no? Folks, you're good, okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Wow, that was pretty good.
It was great.